Hey Gemini, you're up today. So I'm going to do an energy check-in. This is a general reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. So check your other placements. Ace of Cups, Page of Swords. I'm going to be using this deck with some extra oracle cards. Use some more advice. Six of Wands, King of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. Okay. Now you've got the Ace of Cups at the centre of your spread here, Gemini. So this is you. This is your energy, very loving energy, Ace of Cups. Well, there's a lot of love around you at the moment in your world, or it's what your focus might be as well. The world. So in your recent past, Gemini, perhaps you have been in, going through some difficult circumstances, perhaps moving away from things that don't serve your highest good, having to sort of make a hasty exit by the light of the moon, that sort of slipping away energy, things that, in your life that perhaps, don't serve you anymore. And this, you might have been cutting out, for example, doing some sort of purging, cutting out maybe friendships you might have grown out of, relationship situations, or even a job. Take that how it resonates, but it's as if you've been leaving things behind that don't really serve your highest good. And you might not have made much of a sort of thing about it, just sort of been slowly, maybe even decluttering, people, places, things from your life, which is a good energy because that leads you to the world. Even though I think you're still having to learn, perhaps you are learning from perhaps karmic cycles, things that you might be ending, and learning from, what it is you've learnt. Swords energy, perhaps embracing your intellect to get a clear understanding of, where you've been, what you've been learning, what do you still have to learn from your experiences. As I said, leading you to the World card, which is you probably stepping into new things. As I said, Seven of Swords, closing out old cycles, ending things, walking away from things that don't serve your highest good, which is opening up the way for you to embrace the new with the World card here, which is really great. But there seems to also be an energy that you still need to learn or research, or keep your intellect as sharp as it is. Gemini having very sharp, as you do have a very sharp intellect, and it could be that you're focusing very much on things you might have learned and things you are in the process of learning. That there's victory for you here, Gemini. Your acclaim. Perhaps you are a writer. Perhaps you're a part of your life involves literature, writing, maybe journaling, communicating through literature. Which could very well bring you a lot of success and acclaim. That's the key for you, Gemini. Your mind, your intellect is very sharp, it's very witty, it's very clever, very, very smart-minded. So use that. King of Pentacles. This could be somebody in your environment or somebody you know. This could also be linked to your stability. Well, clearly it's linked to your stability, but it seems to me that isn't something you're concerned about. It's as if you're okay. You're sound, you're stable, you're safe, you're fine. That isn't an issue for you, but it might be something that you have also been applying your intellect to, you know, how to increase that, or how to make yourself feel more worthy. And perhaps your worthiness is, you know, you connect your intellect with your work, you know, with your finance, and that, you know, this could be proving to be successful for you, Gemini. It could be opening up, you know, new doors for you. Hermit. Yeah, you had to, perhaps you need some time out, Gemini. Things are changing here for you, things have been changing for you, and it might do you good to withdraw a little bit from the world. It might do you good to focus more on you and the things you're doing. Perhaps focus more on studying, focus more on, you know, what your intellectual capacities, what they can lead you to. You know, the Hermit going within, the Hermit here is more about you having enough time in your working day as well to be able to retreat from the world, because you know it's likely, Gemini, you are busy with more than one thing. A mutable sign as you are usually has a few things on the go, so you know, be sure to take that time out for you, so that you get to recharge, reboot, get that time where you can also reflect on, you know, if you're doing some creative project where you need time to sort of stop and reflect and go back to it and take time out, then this is sort of advice that perhaps you need to do that, and not rush any processes here. Knight of Swords, people, places, things, that you might be dealing with a lot of communication at the moment, Gemini. There could be a lot, you could be working in, you know, a field where that involves a lot of communication as well, and the speed of things right now might be overwhelming. You might be discovering that people around you are perhaps moving too fast, and you could be in a process here where you don't need to, you know, keep up a certain speed or keep a certain momentum, because you are needing to have some time to allow for you, essentially. And this could also be a nudge to say that you don't have to answer every phone call, every text message, everything that's coming in for you, because this is about fast communication, and this is in your environment, people, places, things. So, you know, just be wary that you don't have to respond to everybody all the time. You know, you might know a lot of people, and you might have a lot of communication, you know, via your phone, via emails, via just, you know, in your community, and, you know, perhaps you need to be more selective about, you know, people you also speak to, and be in control of, you know, who you communicate with or to, and why. Also, as I said, you don't have to answer every text message, every phone call that comes in. You know, don't be a slave to that. And with the Seven of Wands, you are needing to understand that for everything that you have been doing and working towards, this is fire energy, creative energy. So all of the creative input that you might have been putting into, you know, your work life is supporting you, is supporting you, and you are supporting it. And, you know, as an outcome, you might well be receiving, you know, attention as well. You know, whatever it is you're doing here, Gemini, is receiving attention, and perhaps because you're very confident in the things, confident in the things you're doing, and also going with the pace of things, you know, the natural ebb and flow. You might find, Gemini, that there's a lot of interest and romantic interest as well, you know, that's headed towards you, or you know, as a result of your confidence, as a result of you you know, manifesting what it is that you are doing. Now, be aware also of disruptions. You know, Knight of Swords, there might even be some kind of unwanted communication, or, you know, this could be a communication overwhelm. It can also mean that you're expecting some communication to do with what it is you're doing, and that could be something that you need to have patience with as well. And don't let other people's viewpoints as well, information or their views with regards to what you're creating. Be aware, and don't find yourself taking on, you know, too much other sort of other people's opinions as well. And you might have to, you know, start sort of saying no to some people if, you know, you're finding that that sort of a constant, maybe there's a, you know, some kind of unwanted communication too. There's a possibility that there could be that. But another communication card which represents Gemini, fire energy, but mercurial too. So communication is sort of key here, and I think what's going on is that your communication skills are a very important aspect of your work life. That, you know, will likely bring you, you know, some very interesting outcomes here. Be careful of, as I said, people in your environment. Be aware of how people communicate with you, whether they are being, you know, respectful in the way they communicate with you. You know, check that whenever you have a text or a message or somebody contacts you, do check the, you know, the content, you know, to see whether that, you know, there's a sort of respect towards you when, you know, when you hear from people. And look closely if you feel that someone isn't respecting you properly. You know, look closely at that. And that isn't about you, that you're not worth being respected, Gemini. That's a case of, you know, if someone's not being respectful towards you, then that's about them, you know, a lack of respect for themselves, you know, which is, you know, why they would behave to you in a disrespectful way. But nevertheless, you don't need that. You know, keep people in your circle who are, you know, positive, uplifting, you know, also, you know, who communicate with you, you know, on a mature level, and communicate with you, you know, properly. You know, so that you shouldn't have to question, you know, when someone is, you know, you should never have to sort of question, you know, you know, that, what does that mean? You know, a text you might, or something you might receive that you don't really quite kind of understand the connotation, that sort of thing. So look out for things like that. If something doesn't sit well with you, then, you know, you don't have to react to it. You don't have to even respond to it. Yeah. So you are letting go of the shadow of the past, and perhaps seeing somebody for the first time through the eyes of love. Now there could be something new coming in for you here, Gemini, but you know, the shadows of the past you have either recently let go of or are in the process of letting go of. And this could be about your healing journey, where you have had to do some more healing, you know, on your, let's say, you know, demons, or, you know, your dark side. Perhaps you had things that needed to be, and quite likely came up during the recent Scorpio full moon, things that, you know, from your shadow side that you might have had to address, or in the process of doing so, things that maybe needed healing. You know, the shadows of the past can be hard to let go of. You know, shadows of the past that you haven't possibly fully healed. You know, these can be woundings from, you know, relationships, breakups, you know, family things, you know, and we know when we're wounded because we get triggered. We know where we are wounded by how we react to something, someone. And if you found recently you have been a bit snappy around people or reactive, you need to ask yourself, what is it that person is triggering in you? There's something, you know, that is making you react in a certain way. And it could be something as simple as, you know, to do with disrespect and feeling disrespected, which might trigger you, you know, and you have to ask yourself why you might allow that. You know, if there's some kind of disrespect in someone's speech or the way they behave towards you, then, you know, that could be a shadow thing within you that you need to ask yourself, what, you know, why does that trigger me? Because it could be that you're allowing someone to be disrespectful towards you, and then you have to ask yourself, why do I allow that? What is it in me, you know, that allows someone to treat me in a certain way? And these could be things, you know, the shadow of the past, things that you allowed in the past. And there could be an element of you that is still allowing that and making you question why. I mean, I could be hitting completely the wrong drum here, but I have a feeling it's linked with your self-respect and how people interact with you. Trust your instincts more and let go of the need to be right. Yeah, you're shedding old skin. 7 of Swords. This snake here. Definitely letting go, maybe even past habits. Perhaps, Gemini, you've woken up to, oh, I'm not allowing anyone to be disrespectful towards me. You know, you've been shaken by something, maybe where there was something that you felt was disrespectful, and that shook you, made you question that. And it was linked with your past. And perhaps in this recent Scorpio full moon, you know, it's come to the surface and you've had to ask yourself. And joy is the ultimate creator. So if you've been going through something, Gemini, which is all linked with your past, your shadow side, difficulties, perhaps facing old historical wounds, remember that joy is the ultimate creator. So to focus in on, you know, the things in your life that make you feel good, that make you feel happy. Be around people too, you know, who bring out your best side, who are uplifting. You know, any Debbie Downers. I think there's a strong message here, Gemini, that you don't need any Debbie Downers around you at the moment. And this could be something you're also looking at. You know, you might have friends who are always the Debbie Downer, and you have to ask yourself, well, why am I still friends with Debbie Downer? Because she always makes me feel little, or she always makes me feel small, or she always diminishes me, or, you know, does something. There could be one of these people in your life, and you really need to question, you know, if you, and it's funny because you can know someone for many, many years. You know, you can have a friendship that goes back 10, 20 years more. And just because of the years that you've had doesn't necessarily mean that they have to stay. You know, yes, you have a history of years, but is that person really bringing anything to the table now? You know, have you outgrown them? For example, you know, do they have a real place in your life, or is it because you've just known that person for so long that they sort of still kind of exist? You know, for example, do you find yourself having the same conversations over and over with the same person, and to the point where it's kind of groundhog, you know, a kind of groundhog day every time you see them? You know, their behaviour hasn't changed. You know, you might have found that you've evolved, you know, while certain people have not. You know, so therefore, if you're feeling more evolved and you feel like the smartest person in the room, you need to get a new friend set. Because, you know, there's no more that part of maybe you've come to a point where you don't need to necessarily be in each other's lives anymore. You know, question these kind of energies. You know, when you've been around someone, how do you feel when you've been around them? You know, do you feel a bit depressed? You know, do you feel upbeat? Do you feel happy to have seen them? You know, is it all, you know, you kind of, you know, you have to ask yourself how you feel. And if you feel, you know, not a lot, or a bit depressed, or a bit depleted, or you know, or some kind of negative energy, then it has to make you ask yourself, you know, why do I still hang out with them? Yeah. So just think about that, and it's not mean to sort of say to just not want to have contact, you know, want to just make that amount of contact you have that person a lot smaller. That's not mean. That's just protecting you and your energy. So check out how many Debbie Downers you got around you. Yeah, and positive changes are coming up. You have the World card, you know, coming in your near future here, which is a welcome relief from troubled times, and you might be travelling or relocating as well. Yeah, and also be more fearless and pursue your most treasured dreams. You know, joy is the ultimate creator. You know, whatever you do, you know, do it with a sense of joy, with a sense of, you know, your dreams. What are they? How can you bring them into fruition? You know, are there new career opportunities that you might not be looking at? You know, wishes coming true, dreams being fulfilled. You know, you're about to enter a magical time of your life with the World card here, because you have done, you know, you've done inner work, you've done some shadow work, you're letting go of things, you know, things, maybe people, places, things, you know, that no longer serve your highest good. You know, which is necessary because, you know, that will hold you back. I let go of the shadow of the past. You know, that's your affirmation, if you like. I let go of the shadow of the past because it has no hold on you. And, you know, stop, you know, perhaps this will make you, you know, with the Ace of Cups here, seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. You know, you might be reconnecting with people where there might have been, you know, difficulties, or you know, your heart chakra might be opening up, and you're being much more able to see people from a much more compassionate and loving space. You know, this could be what's also happening. You know, and as you drop the Debbie Downers and people who don't really lift your spirits and make you feel a bit, you know, a bit down, you will find that you have, you know, a much more open-hearted approach, because you'll be more surrounded with people who know people, keep the people who are positive and, you know, make you feel joyful. Reversed. So free yourself as well. You might have been in something, or somebody might have been showing that, you know, signs of wanting to, you know, be a bit controlling around you as well. Or you've had that. Or you had a difficult situation where you felt a little bit dissipated. Your energy might have felt quite scattered recently as well, which might have made you feel a bit out, you know, not so much out of control, more ungrounded. So, you know, free yourself from anything or anyone, especially naysayers, people who are saying, no, you can't, you never achieve, or you're not going to ever get that, and, you know, sort of not having a positive vibration around you. And your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Yeah, and there could be some kind of addictions here. You might be noticing that. Yeah, there might not be enough chemistry. So look at that too, whoever you're with. Look at if there's any codependency, you know, free yourself from any negative thinking. Yeah, ancestral patterns healing, rewriting the future. So, you know, no surprise you have the Page of Swords here, with break the chain, healing, rewriting the future. You have been addressing your shadow side, your past. I let go of the shadow of the past, and your vibration is rising. Ace of Cups. But I'm clearly advising that you need to cut out anything that's having a negative or toxic effect on you. As I said, people, places, things, even addictions, things that you do that you know is not good for you. Yeah, people, places, things. Life's too short to, you know, let people dull your sparkle. Yeah. So, you know, get in touch with your truth here, and trust your gut, and assert yourself in a loving way. With the Ace of Cups, Seven of Wands. Yeah, you might be needing some time for you. There's something here. Yeah, and you might well have a gift for working with young children as well. Young people, helping, teaching, parenting. You know, you could have a really special gift here. Teaching, parenting, good, you know, just good with children in general. Ooh. Yeah, choose love no matter what. Choose love, yeah. And my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. So let things unfold naturally. Don't force anything. Have a positive mental attitude with everything you do. Yeah. Squeeze. You need a fucking hug, I think. Yeah. You need a big fucking hug, Gemini. I'm sending you one. Squeeze. Yeah, you could have had a lot on here recently, Gemini. Yeah, and you could have also been procrastinating or you know, not making the right choices, which could have, you know, made you, you know, address your shadow side again. What the hell are you waiting for? Get that shit done. So just get on with it. If you're waiting for a sign, well, here it fucking is. So yeah, whatever it is you could have been putting on hold, you'll be advised that that's no more holding on that, because that could also be where you get your victory, your success, the world, new opportunities. Procrastination is a thief of joy. So keep moving. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't let anyone hold you back. Don't get into, you know, you can do it. You can do it. You don't need naysayers. You don't need Debbie Downers. Trust in the higher forces. Yeah, and this is your second affirmation. I trust and know that goals will be achieved. And that's up to you. But also, just a little reminder, take it easy on yourself too. There could be more purging you need to do, releasing, letting go of things, people, places, things you really no longer need, shadow of the past, can't take it with you. Yeah, and you do need quiet time. Hence, so you do need quiet time alone to rest, meditate and contemplate. You know. You need this time, Gemini, before you progress forwards. And, you know, procrastination can often be a result of doing too many things at once. Jack of all trades, master of none. You know, dissipated energy. You know, prioritise, work out what's the most important. If right now quiet time alone and quiet contemplation is the thing you need, do that. Only you know, trust your instincts. And you'll be fine. But don't feel guilty about that. You know, don't feel guilty that you just want to spend time with yourself, doing things you enjoy doing without too much disturbance. You know, you're probably very popular, Gemini, social butterfly. You can say no, you know, you can say no, and be careful about who you spend your time with, you know, whether they have a positive influence on you or not. You can look at that, and don't feel bad, don't feel guilty. There's no guilt attached to wanting to spend time and quiet time for yourself, to get rest, to meditate, to contemplate, to hermit a little bit, to allow yourself that luxury. You don't have to explain yourself either. Just take out what you need, and you know you'll get back into that, you know, that fiery energy, that creative energy that that you have been clearly working with. Yeah. And end your reading there, Gemini. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this reading. Also, thanks to my new subscribers. I really appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Sending you lots of love. Take care. Bye.